What's up, guys? I'm back! As you can see, Jaren made it back from his adventure. What are we doing today, Jaren?
We are gonna start on the titanium exhaust.
As you remember, if you remember, full 4-inch titanium exhaust all the way at the back. And potentially a 5-inch tip.
Potentially.
Oh, it is a 5-inch tip.
Definitely a 5-inch tip, yeah. And we already have the downpipe done and coated, and we get to unwrap it and look at it now.
Yes. Since the downpipe's already done, most of the work is gonna be underneath the car, which is gonna be nice. We don't have to go up and down on the lift. We're gonna be underneath the car all day, which is not good for me because I'll probably hit my head. But I have my head protection today, so hopefully no cuts, no bleeding.
Party time.
Party time!
Party time! Well, we gotta lift the 240 up, and if you don't remember, Jared has this wonderful thing that he's got going on every time we have to lift this up.
Why do you have to talk so badly about my lift? It's a perfect lift.
It's perfect.
But the downside is, I do have to pressurize it for it to go down. Not up, just down.
Because for some reason somebody decided to have something more complicated than just a regular mechanical lock.
Yeah, well, it works.
Uh-huh.
So I have this nice little air compressor set up on the shelf that pressurizes it, but we have to wait, and then we can lower the car.
And it takes forever.
Especially with that, especially with that look on there. Unwrap the goods. I think at this point you're starting to rewrap it. There you have it. The beautiful downpipe that Jaren has fabricated. All coated and pretty. And we lowered the car. It took forever for the compressor to pressurize, but car's down now, so we're gonna install it real quick. That way we can start on the exhaust.
I turned on the YouTube mode. Now I have energy again.
Oh. We're missing a nut on that clamp.
Well, while I was gone, it appears Jared lost our little washer.
I didn't lose anything.
The nut. We're missing it. It's gone. Where'd it go, Jared? Where did you put it?
Well, if you would have tightened it before you left, it wouldn't have fallen.
Well, I had to find fittings.
You didn't find fittings.
What do you mean? They're all right here.
Those are my fittings I found because you took forever.
What are you talking about? Where's your proof?
Mama missy mama.
Oh, to get this done?
Yeah.
Wastegate removed. So what do we got to do with the wastegate first?
Oh yeah, I guess I should probably explain it instead of play with it. Okay, so all these little ports, we need to throw fittings and plugs in so that, you know, it's ready for when we actually run all of our lines, which we should probably figure out what spring we want to run.
True. So for most of the fittings that we're putting on the motor, we are going to be using, well, any of them that are, what, like the NPT threading, that's not like the sealable AN fittings. We're using the hydraulic sealant.
Yes.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that we seal it. You want to make sure you use the proper thing to seal it, which...
Pneumatic hydraulic sealant.
Pneumatic hydraulic.
Yeah. Yes.
So you got to seal the threads. We're going to plug 2 of the holes in here because we're not going to use them. We're going to utilize 2 of the other holes for our AN lines to go to what, the turbo and the boost controller.
The boosty boosties.
The boosty boosties.
The boosty boosties.
So Jaren's gonna plug those 2 holes up right now. I hope David gave me the right fittings. We'll have to look.
We'll find out.
Yep.
I can't get it. There we go.
Dump tube time. Jaren's gonna go underneath because we forgot to put the dump tube on the wastegate before we installed it. Yeah.
Plus, now I can like kind of aim it right where I want.
Oh.
You can do it. You can hold the camera and the tube at the same time.
Trying. All right, dump tube is successfully installed. If you can remember, we have it angling out so it fires flame right behind the tire.
Fire!
Nice little touch.
Fire!
Jaren's idea, all of his crazy ideas.
I think it'll work fine.
Yeah.
We'll find out. We'll find out if we cook something.
Cook the tires, just more traction.
Yeah, exactly.
Now feeding this thing through the tight squeeze without scratching it. Shh. Jaren, I hear music of metal against metal.
It's okay, nobody will see that. It's this upper part that I taped that matters.
If you haven't noticed, it's quite the tight squeeze if you want to go 4-inch in an S13 with the 2J. But Jaren has worked his magic to make it fit perfectly. Beautimous.
Where did I put that 13?
You need a 13?
Yeah.
Can you reach the 13? Is it over there?
I genuinely don't know.
No, this is the 1/2 inch. You have the 13.
Wait, hang
On
on.
you.
Hang on. Did I put it in my pocket? Oh, it's in my butt. We're good. So we ran into a problem, okay? So, as you guys know, our intake piping, it is kind of a tight fit. It's a really tight squeeze. We have to have the turbo clocked exactly where we want it for it to work. Well, while I was underneath the car and bolting up the downpipe, trying to fit it exactly where I wanted it, we realized that when we were fitting on the intercooler piping before, we had loosened up the turbo to the manifold. So as I'm down there twisting it, we ended up twisting the turbo, which Jared, would you be so kind as to move our little turbo there? Yeah, so we moved it. So now we have to wait for our radiator and intercooler to be done and in the car and put all of the intake piping on before we can even build the rest of the titanium exhaust. So even though we were so excited to get it done, and that was originally what this whole video was going to be about, we're going to change gears and we're going to do something else. So wish us luck.
Yeah.
And I guess you guys will find out in like, what, 2 seconds with what we're doing?
Yep.
Update!
Welcome back. As you saw with the previous footage, we ran into a little bit of a hiccup with the downpipe. We were about to do the full exhaust, but the turbo rotated when we were messing with the downpipe. So now we don't really know exactly where that turbo was supposed to go. So before welding that completely together, and we realized that the turbo was supposed to turn a little bit the other way, and then the exhaust doesn't fit anymore, we had to wait for the intercooler and the radiator to get back from powder coating. Now, they have come back and they are beautiful. Once again, Kevin and his team over at Powder Extreme pulled it off and did a fantastic job. The black looks so good. This radiator is gorgeous. Even though we chopped it up and welded on our own bungs and kind of fabricated it a lot more extreme than most people do, it turned out beautiful. And the intercooler looks so demonic with that black coating on there. And originally they told me that that Cerakote, that heat dissipating coating, is really translucent and it'll only tint it, but it'll still look silver. No, this turned out perfect. That flat black is gonna look so good with this engine bay and poking through the front bumper. But before I get those put back onto the motor, so we can move forward with that section, I do need to flush that radiator out. I need to hook up a hose to it and just run water through it for a long time, just because we want to get all those metal pieces out of it. We chopped it up, we welded it. There's got to be some stuff left in there, so I got to flush that out. I don't want to do that while it's on the car. It's easy while it's off right now. So before I mess with those, I am going to put the whole intake manifold together, the fuel system, so the fuel rail, the injectors, just so this side is done. And we could kind of mount the intercooler piping on that side, even though I don't have the, I might put the intercooler on. That way we can have, you know, this side kind of complete. You can get a better idea of what things are gonna look like. Plus then I can mount the blow-off valve, because I do need to route that line from the blow-off valve to the intake manifold. But I do have the intake manifold kind of pieced together here. So the IAC valve is there, it's gonna be hidden underneath, and then I have all my fittings. So one of these is going to the blow-off valve, one is going to the fuel pressure regulator. This is gonna be a sensor that we're gonna put in there, so I kinda 90'd it off so the sensor can just poke this way, and we plug it in right from the back. So let's get this onto Frankie and get one step closer to being finished. All right, now that the intake manifold is on, I'm gonna start working on the fuel rail there and the injectors. Downside with the injectors, it's blue, so it doesn't really match my color scheme, but I guess it's kind of like a titanium blue. That way it's not completely far-fetched to have blue in there, and it's just little pops of blue that you'll see. But I'm gonna feed the injectors into the fuel rail in each slot, and then we'll put it onto the intake manifold. There you have it. All the injectors are in, and now we just have to put it into the intake manifold. That'll be it for today. Just a quick little video. Ran into another issue than normal. The fuel rail looks beautiful. The injectors look amazing. Little -6 return side is gonna just loop down underneath so you can't really see it. And it'll go up into the fuel pressure regulator that's gonna be mounted there. The issue I ran into is I have a -8 feed line that has to go in the end of that. And we're right next to the firewall. Let me grab a fitting to show you. This is my -8 fitting that I'm gonna be using. When I put it on the end of this, it is right up against the firewall, and that does not account for the fitting that needs to be in between these two. So if anything, I'll have to take the fuel rail off, put the fitting on, put the end of the hose or the feed line on, then reinstall it. Such a tight squeeze, this 2J in an S13 chassis. Hopefully you enjoyed that. A little bit more progress, real quick video. Once I get the fuel line created, we'll go on to the next steps. So hopefully you enjoyed that quick little video. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We are getting so close to having this entire car done. I can taste it. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful night. Until next time.